One of the main complaints that a lot of people had since the return of Berserk last May was the amount of development presented in each chapter. We were starting to see some progress with dialogue and the story with 368, but that was about 9 months ago. In reference to the hiatus that started 5 months ago, which just ended almost a month ago with 372. Now with this chapter, I feel like it's dangerously creeping back to square one, where almost everyone had an issue. Let's review what took place and tell me how you felt down in the comments after. Load it up. Yo. So, to our surprise, the chapter starts off away from Casca residing in Falconia and back to the Black Swordsman crew in the middle of the sea, opening up with Serpico and Puck tracking down Isidro, who decided to get some solitude on the side of the boat. Serpico worried for his safety and informing him on Shirke's plan to pinpoint Casca, but Isidro is ever so smugly dismissing what he's saying by repeating, "Is that so?" But it's very obvious he is deeply affected by what happened on Elfhelm, specifically watching Isma disappear before his eyes. Being aware of this, Serpico reassures him that what happened on Elfhelm is affecting everyone, and they're pretty lucky to have made it out, that they should just trust Shirke. You know, I kinda feel for the kid. He was starting to build some resolve and thought potentially he and Homegirl would have been something in the long run, but now Griffith, as always, ruins everything. After this short interaction, we cut to the lower decks where Shirke is explaining her plan to everyone in the vicinity. Now, I'm not sure how long it has been since they all escaped Elfhelm, but it seems to have been long enough for everyone to come out of their little depressing moods. Shirke has drawn a magic circle and explains to Roderick and Magnifico that focusing on her will help amplify the spell. As she begins the ritual, we can see that many of the crew members and the mages from the island have been gathered to participate. As soon as Magnifico begins to talk, Farnese quickly silences him and explains to him what is happening to Shirke and her goal, which is to expand her consciousness into a domain even deeper than the realm of the dead. Once successfully able to astral project her consciousness, we can see that only Evilira is able to see her now, as she waves off to her goodbye. Once her astral form reaches outside, she can see the branches of the world spiral tree, but for some reason she calls it the Dragon's Path. I never heard that before. Recognizing that all the paths meet at a certain point and heads towards it, and that is likely where Casca has been taken. I'm a bit confused as to why Shirke is doing this, or even alone, since Gedfrin and the other sages are there. Recalling that Serpico mentions that people are losing their powers, is it possible that they can't really do much outside of Elfhelm? He seems to look useless here. In the next panel, we cut to Guts regaining consciousness in the storage room. As he wakes, a dark flame is coming out of the Dragon Slayer. Immediately, the Beast of Darkness pops out of his cloak laughing, circling him and takes a seat right on the sword where the flame was bursting out. What's so interesting about this picture is how it displays the beast reveling in its freedom with the broken chains all around it, which fits the title of the chapter stating the rusty iron rings that bind. As expected, it begins to tempt Guts with his deep desire for more power, and with those words, Guts' exhausted body moves to pick up his sword. While trying to pick it up, a dark energy starts to envelop his physical presence and consciousness, but suddenly, Griffith pops out of nowhere standing on the Dragon Slayer, weighing it down so that Guts is unable to lift it, which is a slick reference to the first duel between Guts and Griffith during the Golden Age. And as they lock eyes, to Guts' surprise, he has a sudden urge to throw up and then collapses forward, face planting in front of the beast laughing. Now, was this really Griffith's presence appearing before Guts to stop him from falling to darkness? Or does Guts' subconscious deep down still see Griffith in a good light and use his visage as a way to combat the beast from taking over? Either way, the beast continues to taunt Guts, stating that he can't deny it, that the brand limits him and his flesh restrains him, trying to poetically convince him to yield to him so that Guts can have the power to do what he wants to do. Immediately after, chains break through the windows of the deck encased with smoke bombs. As Roderick tries to figure what is happening, he notices Kushan invaders boarding from the chains. These Kushan are likely pirates because they don't look to wear the same armor as those that were part of Ganish's army. As these invaders seize the ship and apprehend the passengers like the mages from the island on the upper deck, we see the crew members gathering around along with Farnese to protect Shirke. to finally ending with some of these pirates opening the door to the storage room where Guts is face down and unconscious holding the Dragon Slayer. I have mixed feelings about this chapter, and mainly for two reasons. For one, I really was hoping to focus a bit more on Casca, and for us to get some more insight on what is happening within Falconia for a few more chapters at least. Second, I didn't feel like this chapter delivered. It felt like a One Piece or Demon Slayer episode, where the plot is being dragged out, when this chapter should have honestly focused on one subject, either Shirkei's escapades navigating through the World Tree, or Guts' interaction with the unshackled Beast of Darkness. Now this doesn't mean that I don't appreciate what took place in the chapter. I just felt that it focused too much on teasing future events instead of fleshing out the focal point, which is finding a way to rescue Casca. But let me know what you all think in the comments after reading the chapter for yourself. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe for future Berserk content coming down the pipeline. Check out the link to the Berserk playlist in the description and the first comment pinned to the top. You know the vibes. It's Kaizoku Sleven. Appreciate you.